Oleksander Usyk, the reigning unified heavyweight champion of the world, dazzling the boxing world with a combination of strength and skill, Usyk is currently considered to be amongst the greatest fighters to have ever lived. Possessing a perfect record of 23 victories and no defeats, the Ukrainian fighter has already achieved the status of being an undisputed champion in 2 weight divisions.
It was a fabulous performance for Oleksander Usyk.
Daniel Dubois, the current IBF heavyweight champion of the world, possessing a record of 22 victories and only 2 defeats, the London-born fighter is known for his devastating knockout power.
He's going to get knocked out here!
And with a current run of outstanding victories, the IBF champion hopes to successfully defend his hard-earned world title. And with it being announced that the 2 champions will square off again in a highly anticipated rematch, we take an in-depth look behind the scenes and view the journey that both fighters undertook since their first memorable bout. This is an Oleksander Usyk versus Daniel Dubois fight preview. To understand the significance of this mega showdown, we first take a look at the unified heavyweight champion, Oleksander Usyk. A global superstar, Usyk currently enjoys the position as the best fighter within the sport. Beginning with an Olympic gold medal at the 2012 Olympics, he would go on to capture the undisputed Cruiserweight Championship in 2018 and becoming the unified heavyweight champion in 2021. A shocking upset at the time, Usyk had just dethroned the unified champion, Anthony Joshua, in his hometown of London. A fellow Olympic gold medalist, Joshua's size and power was considered to be a major factor in silencing the Ukrainians' aspirations.
This is the fight of the year. This is, I believe, an iconic moment for British boxing as the unified heavyweight world champion Anthony Joshua once again puts his belts on the line against the former undisputed cruiserweight world champion Oleksander Usyk. This is going to be a tremendous fight, and I believe everybody here, everybody watching at home, everybody in the incredible arena, we're in for a night I believe we will never ever forget. We cannot wait.
With over 60,000 spectators in attendance, both champions were promising an epic performance. The bout began with both fighters taking center stage. With a combination of lateral movement and quick punches, the champion was unable to settle into the fight. A unanimous decision victory, the Ukrainian fighter would silence Joshua in front of his hometown crowd.
A devastating defeat. Obviously, congratulations to Oleksander Usyk. What a fighter. Put in a great performance tonight and the better man won.
The rematch was scheduled to take place the following year in August of 2022 within the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. A stark difference from the first encounter. The former champion would throw hard combinations, punishing Oleksander Usyk throughout the early rounds. Usyk would begin to take control during the middle portion of the fight, catching Joshua coming in, constantly turning and keeping him off balance.
And still the unified heavyweight champion of the world.
Despite it being more competitive due to Joshua's aggressive efforts, Usyk would once again display his boxing dominance to the remainder division. As is the case in boxing, whenever the spotlight is shined on one fighter, another fighter is lurking behind the scenes, waiting for his opportunity. Such is the case for Daniel Dubois, a highly aggressive fighter with knockout power in both hands. Dubois' all-action style is a throwback to the legendary power punchers who came long before his time.
Absolutely fantastic, and he does everything very well. He's in absolutely fantastic shape. He destroys everything he hits, and what more can you want from a young heavyweight?
Living up to his given name as Dynamite, he has viciously stopped 21 opponents in his 22 victories. Entering 2020 with a career-perfect record of 15 wins and no losses, Dubois was in possession of the British and Commonwealth world titles. In a surprise move, it was announced that he would square off against undefeated fighter Joyce. A fellow knockout artist, Joyce entered with 10 professional fights and 9 wins by knockout. With the fight being rumored to take place at an earlier date, it would finally seem possible, as both fighters were under the same promotional banner.
The big fight, the 2 undefeated guys, the Juggernaut and the Destroyer, they're fighting on the 11th of April at the O2, and it's going to be a special night for British boxing. And these are the 2 best young or best heavyweights, up-and-coming heavyweights.
With the COVID pandemic causing the fight to take place behind closed doors, both fighters would promise a memorable performance. Both fighters would begin the bout in a cautious manner. With Joyce having the height and reach advantage, he would keep Dubois at a distance with power punches. Despite Dubois rallying back in an aggressive manner, Joyce's hard jabs would cause his eye to swell, disrupting his momentum.
Working hard enough and he's just being outworked a little bit. Oh dear, it's the left eye and he's gone down. He's had enough, he doesn't want any more.
Suffering his first career defeat, Dubois had vowed to return to the ring in better form. Stringing along 4 career victories, Dubois had captured the WBA regular heavyweight title in the process. Being a mandatory challenger for the Ukrainians' WBA title, Usyk had joined the Ukrainian Defense Forces as his country was engaged in a military conflict with Russia. Given permission to travel abroad to defend his titles, the heavyweight showdown with Daniel Dubois was expected to be finalized.
Formally announced this magnificent event, August 26th, the unified world heavyweight champion, the Ukrainian ring wizard Oleksander Usyk, defends his crown against the young, game, hungry, heavy-handed Daniel Dynamite Dubois. It's August 26th, unified world heavyweight championships on the line, Oleksander Usyk against Daniel Dubois.
For Daniel Dubois, known for his thudding power and high-pressure style, given the biggest opportunity of his career, he is looking to capture the unified heavyweight titles and establish himself as the kingpin of the division. For Oleksander Usyk, known for his exceptional boxing skills and his cat-like reflexes, he looks to defend his heavyweight championship and continue to spread his dominance over the heavyweight division.
Champion versus champion. An excellent professional record, 19 victories, 18 of those 19 by knockout. On the scales, the WBA regular heavyweight champion, Dynamite Daniel Dubois. Perfect record of 20 wins out of 20 fights, 13 by KO. The unified heavyweight world champion, Oleksander Usyk. Dynamite Daniel Dubois. Oleksander Usyk for the unified heavyweight championship of the world.
With over 40,000 spectators in attendance at the Polish stadium, the Ukrainians were in full force to see their champion retain his belts.
The reigning and defending WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Dynamite Daniel Dubois. He is the former undisputed, undefeated cruiserweight world champion, the reigning, defending, undefeated, unified IBF, IBO, WBA, WBO heavyweight champion of the world, Oleksander Usyk.
Both fighters would begin the bout with extreme caution. Fully aware of the other's skill set, they would continually throw range-finding jabs. The Ukrainian would increase the tempo, catching Dubois with quick and eye-catching combinations.
That southpaw jab from Usyk that is so dangerous.
A constant barrage of punches, keeping the Brit on the back foot. Oleksander Usyk would dominate the fight, heading into the middle rounds.
But Usyk creates so many attacking options, doesn't he, with his footwork and his judgment of distance and his fast hands.
Down on the scorecards, Dubois would land a vicious right uppercut to Oleksander Usyk's body in the 5th round, sending the champion to the canvas. Ruled as a low blow by the referee, the Ukrainian would be given almost 4 minutes to recover.
And they are saying that's a low blow, a bad low blow. And Usyk will get the full 5 minutes to recover from what has been ruled a low blow from Dubois.
Replying with aggression, Oleksander Usyk would unleash a brutal assault on Dubois, pummeling him with vicious combinations.
That's great work again from Usyk, and Dubois touchdown. Down again. Straight right hand from Usyk. Is he going to survive here, Dubois? No, it's over. The flurry, the speed, the accuracy. Perfection from Usyk.
As dominating as the Ukrainians' performance was, controversy would take place following Daniel Dubois' knockout loss. Despite promoter Frank Warren's calls for an immediate rematch, Usyk would instead shift his focus on the final belt of the division, held by the WBC champion Tyson Fury. Daniel Dubois would return to the ring 4 months later, this time against Jarrell Miller. Named as Big Baby, the fighter hailing from Brooklyn, New York, is known for his pre-fight antics.
Tune in Saturday night, man. I'm gonna cook this shrimp. The 2-time quitter.
On a fight card packed with heavyweight contests, Dubois was looking to return in dominating fashion.
Big Baby. Every baby has a daddy, and I'm gonna beat you like I'm your daddy.
The bout would begin with Dubois on the back foot. With Miller having the weight advantage, he would continue to apply pressure, landing short, heavy punches. Dubois would be forced to stand and trade, throwing blistering combinations, stopping Miller coming forward.
Dubois inside the final 20 seconds. Wobbled by a left hand, clubbed by another one. The referee's having a look. Is Dubois going to get a late stoppage? What a win for Daniel Dubois. Michael Oleksander steps in and stops it with only seconds remaining.
Ever since its investment within boxing, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has been determined to schedule an undisputed heavyweight title fight. Recognizing the failed negotiations between the two fight camps, it would take a broker to organize what would be the biggest spectacle in recent years. Announced for the 18th of May 2024, it would see both Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk finally face off for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world in a packed-out stadium at the Kingdom Arena. In Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, it would see the first undisputed champion in the four-belt era. The opening bell would see both champions applying a cautious approach. With neither overcommitting to any punches, it would look to be a chess match throughout the bout. Despite a positive start by Alexander Usyk, in which he found success with straight left hands, Fury would begin to take control using his distance and walking Alexander Usyk into quick counterpunches. Displaying sublime footwork and hand speed for a man of his stature, Usyk would be left frustrated at his inability to close the distance effectively. Just when it seemed that Fury had the fight controlled, the Ukrainian would increase the tempo, throwing a combination of head and body punches, outworking the Brit. Round 9 would see Usyk unleash a vicious counterpunch, sending Fury stumbling across the ring. Fury would be forced to take the standing 8 count. A fight where many thought would be another dominant win for Tyson Fury was instead an outstanding performance by Alexander Usyk. A hard-fought journey. It would finally take Usyk 3 long years to achieve the status of the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. 7 months later would see the rematch between the two, once again taking place within the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. A stark difference from their first encounter. The Ukrainian would set a speedy pace, which saw him display more aggression early on. Round 5 would see the former champion begin with aggression, throwing a variation of combination punching, sending the Ukrainian backwards. A more exciting bout compared to their first encounter. It would see the two heavyweights trade punches consecutively. Headed to the scorecards once again, Alexander Usyk would retain his heavyweight titles by unanimous decision. A passing of the torch, it would see the country of Ukraine once again rule the heavyweight division since the dominance of both Vitaly and Vladimir Klitschko. An outstanding amateur career, finishing with an Olympic gold, an undisputed championship at cruiserweight, and finally achieving the undisputed championship at heavyweight. Alexander Usyk would finally establish himself as one of the best fighters of this era. Dubois would return in June of 2024, this time against the highly ranked Filip Hrgović, an undefeated fighter with knockout power. Hrgović had a perfect record of 17-0 with 14 victories by knockout. Living up to the expectation, both Dubois and Hrgović would engage in a toe-to-toe battle, trading heavy punches throughout, and with Daniel Dubois unleashing a number of vicious combinations on Filip Hrgović. A cut would force the ring doctor to stop the bout. Capturing the vacant IBF interim title, Dubois would once again position himself towards a world title opportunity. With Alexander Usyk vacating his IBF title abruptly, it would pave the way for a potential all-British showdown between Anthony Joshua and Daniel Dubois.
Wembley Stadium, London, England. Riyadh season will continue to make fight fans' dreams come true. Two of the best heavyweights in the world.
With Daniel Dubois elevated to the full status of the IBF heavyweight champion, it would add a sense of excitement to the bout. Round 1 would begin with the champion taking an aggressive approach. Keeping Joshua on the back foot, Dubois was looking for an early knockout. Down on the canvas twice, the referee paid close attention as Joshua looked severely unsteady. With no hope of the fight going the distance, Joshua's corner would instruct him to go on the offensive. And despite Dubois having a surge of offense early on, which saw him bludgeon Joshua, Joshua would land a sudden right hand, sending Dubois stumbling backwards. Throwing and landing 2 consecutive right hands, Joshua would make the grave mistake of trying to repeat the same combination.
Anthony Joshua is going to get knocked out here. Dynamite Daniel Dubois has detonated at Wembley Stadium.
On On July 19th at the Wembley Stadium in London, England, the boxing world will once again witness the highly anticipated rematch between the unified heavyweight champion Oleksander Usyk and the IBF heavyweight champion Daniel Dubois.
Boxer punchers who were both elite pound for pound in or around their best weight division in their primes, where it's like a 50-50 fight. That, to me, that's the best fight in boxing in years that can be made.
For Oleksander Usyk, already considered to be the greatest heavyweight of his era, he looks to once again capture his vacated title and solidify his hold over the heavyweight division. For Daniel Dubois, a newly crowned champion, he looks to right the wrongs from their previous encounter and take his position as the heavyweight division's newest ruler.
The boxing world and press is essentially split down the middle in terms of who they think will win the fight, but everyone agrees we have a potential classic on our hands.